So the Overwatch video I ended I think like a week ago, maybe 5 days ago, something around that. And it was a really fun experience. It was a really refreshing sensation for me. And well, I wanted to make a video for the first time, I think. And even if I actually wrote a script, I decided to discard it just because I think I wanted to talk in a more natural way about some of these topics. And well, here we are. What are the things that I wanted to talk about Overwatch more than that is a good game in general? Is how Overwatch gets some treatment as a first as the Team Fortress 2 competitor. I've seen some videos and some comments in which people tells, hey, they are way too different games. Like you can't even compare them sometimes, and I actually don't like that because they are very similar games, and you can't compare them. It's like comparing League of Legends and Dota 2. They're two very similar games. Obviously, they have their differences, and with these differences, you actually can say that these two games feels different, which is true, I think. But that doesn't remove the fact that both games are very similar, not just because it's the same genre. So, what Overwatch does that brings something new is the mixing of known ingredients, because Overwatch actually doesn't have very new mechanics. It's really hard to make new mechanics in an industry that has so much new games coming, not only from AAA developers or big companies, but also from independent companies and video game developers. So what Overwatch does is taking these elements mostly from arena shooters and obviously something from other games, and giving us a new game experience, which is actually really fun. And that's why I think Overwatch, it's a game that is not a new experience, but it's a new way to approach some elements. Well, the things that comes from arena shooters are basically, the high mobility, the goodies pickups, the health packs. In this case, I think it's only health packs, but suddenly you can pick armor from Troyborn. I don't know how you pronounce that name, honestly. Sometimes the maps have this arena sensation, which obviously are focused in the objectives, but you get these arena ideas on the map, to be honest. And well, in general, the fast-paced gameplay. I mean, it's a fast game, which is fun because you have heroes that are very slow or very static, like Bastion, like maybe even you can say McCree that doesn't have any kind of relevant mobility. But at the same time, you have heroes like Tracer or Genji that are super fast, and this mixing of stuff is something that we haven't really seen that much, because there's the Team Fortress and the more traditional first-person shooter genre, in which I think Team Fortress is very different from the traditional one, so it's kind of unfair. But usually the first-person shooter games have classes, so these classes are present in most of this game. For example, in Team Fortress 2 we have the Heavy, which is a tank class, the Soldier, which is an overall class to say. There's the Medic, no explanation on that, the Builder, which is the Engineer. So in other games, Battlefield have also their Medic, their Assault, which gives you health, which gives you ammunition, and maybe sometimes in Call of Duty, or I don't know which game honestly, but they have these classes that the only thing they have is a setup of weapons for some purpose, like long range snipers or really close quarter shotguns, that kind of stuff. And what differences these classes from heroes, that is what Overwatch has, is most likely the personality they add to the class, and obviously the skills, but not just in a way on how it works, because it's not only about this class is faster than all the other classes. It's like this hero in this class has I don't know, a hook shot that can place her anywhere, or well, almost anywhere on the map, or a dash forward and can rewind time, or I don't know, they can project barriers on other players, and these elements usually are what people say, oh, these are mobile elements. And this is another topic, like we are probably we hear everywhere that this is not a mobile game, has nothing to do with them. And even if I'm agree with that, I'm agree with that, but I wouldn't blame people for seeing these elements as mobile elements, because not just because you did something first, it means that you already set the standard for how that something is approached. uh, Skills in characters is so old in video games. It's basically something very natural in video games. But let's go back, for example, to Warcraft 3 and the heroes. Uh, a lot of other kind of strategy or more massive online multiplayer games have, Uh, but these MOBA games actually made people, they are so popular that they make people relate these skills and heroes, these two words, in a way that they actually will see everything that is a skill or a hero as part of a MOBA environment. And it's okay, because not because League of Legends or Dota 2 came first, no, but it's because they are probably the two most popular games around nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of other popular games with a lot of player base, but at least in these Twitch games, which I like to call them, they're really popular games to stream, to watch, not only because of esports, but also because of casual player base. These two games are really, really important, and League of Legends is probably the top of them. So people, it's not because people think that MOBA came first, or I want to think that. It's more like they have this thing present because they see it more in other games. So it's really not right to blame people for saying, oh, I see mobile elements in this game. Oh, this is like League of Legends, a shooter of League of Legends. No, you can explain them not, but it shouldn't be weird to see people explaining this game as a MOBA shooters to other people, because it's not right, but it's not wrong. I mean, not that wrong, honestly. So to jump into another kind of topic that I want to talk about more, it has to do more with Overwatch as a product, because for me at least, it's very fun to see how this game answers some Blizzard's, I won't say problems or issues, but some Blizzard lack of how you say, synergy between their games. Like the popular games of Blizzard nowadays, or at least the games that you will see most played in Battle.net are, StarCraft, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Heroes of the Storm, and Hearthstone. So you have, for example, World of Warcraft and Diablo. It's really hard, for me at least, to imagine that a lot of people will play both games, because they're time consuming. Like they demand a lot of time, and that creates some cannibalism between the Blizzard's library. I mean, you usually have players that are not capable of having both, so you lose some players in one game and they go to another. Cannibalization is a term that is used to represents when a new product eats the market share of another product. This strategy is usually used to increase margins, increase customer loyalty, or even gaining more market share. But it's not always the best strategy to increase profits. Blizzard in the end is a company and it needs profits. So the good thing of Overwatch is that it's a game with no cannibalization. There is no other game that can compare to Overwatch in the Blizzard library. So Blizzard gamers won't need to quit one game to play the other. Another way of seeing the classic cannibalization, I think this is the most normal example, I think, because you can say, for example, people that play StarCraft, like they can buy the free games, but they will play they will play the older games even less than the new games, even if they buy them free. Or what happens if a player says, you know what, I'm just happy with Wings of Liberty because I just want to StarCraft 2. I don't want any more, so they don't buy the Heart of the Swarm. I don't know, Blizzard have these statistics, of course, and even if I think it worked for them, they would like people to not go to all the companies' games and stay in their library. That's why Overwatch comes and say, okay, we are not in the FPS genre, and we need our players, or Blizzard players, to have some of this instead of playing Team Fortress 2 or Counter-Strike, which are probably the only two, or the top competitors of Overwatch. More in depth, we can see this BCG matrix, which is usually used to identify efficient cash usage on potential products to increase market share. These are a lot of fancy words, but it's very understandable when you see the matrix. Like, you have 4 category of products. You have your stars, your question marks, your cash cows, or your dogs. And very quickly, the star are your main product, your stellar product, your flagship product. They have the best market share and they create the most cash for these companies. Usually the company should invest in this kind of stars because they can become cash cows after some period of time, and this is good for the company because it gives them money, and money is needed for creating new games. Then you have the question marks, and basically you have to invest in question marks products because they have a lot of potential growth. Like, question marks should become star products, but they can actually become dog products, which are it's like this kind of product that doesn't create any kind of value. They are just there consuming resources, and you actually can't. They don't. It's games that don't have a future actually, and they are just there. Sucking resources that you can use in other question mark products to maybe win more market share or increase your revenues. We can say that maybe this Blizzard decision to take down some old Warcraft servers comes because this product were dog products, the old World of Warcraft servers. But we don't know for sure. What we can say almost for sure is that World of Warcraft is nowadays a cash cow for Blizzard in general. Even if it's decreasing in a high rate, I think. The game is not at its peak, and probably Blizzard what is doing with this decision of Overwatch is looking for a new star using the funds that they got from this World of Warcraft. We can say maybe that the Blizzard movie of Warcraft is kind of their new star product, but I'm not really sure because you can say, for example, Hearthstone. Hearthstone is actually really popular, and sometimes Heroes of the Storm gets good popularity. In general, Blizzard has a very good position in these Twitch games, in these popular games, but they don't have that flagship that StarCraft was some long years ago. And I really think it's fun to see how Blizzard pretends to make this new game to make it their star. But at the same time, even if this game can become a star, the only issue I have with the game, and I think we all can agree with that, is that it feels small, because even if they add 20 more heroes and I don't know 10 more maps, the game is will still be like lacking stuff compared to, for example, the free-to-play counterparts as Team Fortress, or even a paid game like Counter-Strike. I like to compare this game to Counter-Strike because you pay for them both, and they both are multiplayer games, and you actually are thinking you get so much more value per dollar for Counter-Strike Go at this point, at least, that I hope Blizzard have more plans that for Overwatch, more than just heroes and maps. aside of that, I think Overwatch is a great game destined to become a star, but not even a star can be perfect. Hope you really liked the video. To be honest, my very first video talking about some stuff that I just wanted to share, and to be honest, my fingers are not in the best shape to write all of this stuff.